Have you ever wondered why the presence of some people brings us a strange sense of peace, even when they say nothing? Why do we become braver around certain individuals? Why do we work harder, trust deeper, and sometimes even sacrifice for them? And why do some managers, commanders, or politicians, despite all their power and titles, inspire fear than trust? In this video, we explore these questions through the ideas of Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek is one of the world's most influential thinkers on leadership. His books and talks on trust, purpose, and human behavior have inspired millions of people around the globe. Back in 2014, during a TED Talk, he shared a powerful idea about leadership and why some people makes us feel protected. TED has become a place where ideas can change the way we see the world and perhaps even the way we live. So why does a good leader makes us feel safe? Over the last decade, our world has changed dramatically. A pandemic, wars, artificial intelligence, economic uncertainty, and a growing sense of loneliness in the age of social media. Perhaps modern humans fear the future more than ever. But the interesting thing is, our greatest problem has never been danger itself. 50,000 years ago, our ancestors feared predators. Today, we fear losing our jobs, economic crisis, and an uncertain future. Yet one thing has never changed. Human being needs something to survive, a sense of safety. According to Simon Sinek, we perform at our best when we live inside what he calls a circle of safety, a place where we know we belong, a place where we make mistake does not mean being abandoned, a place where if we fall, someone will help us stand again. Perhaps that is why, when soldiers are asked why they risked their lives to save others, they rarely say, "Because I am a hero." Instead, they simply say, "Because they would have done the same for me." And maybe that is one of the deepest definitions of trust. The problem is that we often confuse leadership with power. We think leaders are those who give orders, those with higher ranks, those who demand obedience. But history tells us something different. Power creates compliance, safety creates loyalty, and they are not the same. The leaders do not sacrifice people to protect themselves. They sacrifice their comfort, their status, and sometimes even their own interests to protect the people who trust them. That is why some parents become the greatest leader of our lives without ever holding a title. That is why we never forget certain teachers, and why some leaders remain in the hearts of people long after they are gone. Simon Sinek once said, "Leadership is not a rank, leadership is a choice." And perhaps this truth matters more today than ever before. Because in an age of artificial intelligence and endless change, what people need most is not more technology, not more power, not more wealth, but a sense of belonging. The feeling that someone cares, the feeling that we are not alone. And perhaps that is why a good leader gives us something before motivation, before success, before vision. A good leader gave us safety. And maybe the greatest leaders in history were not those people feared, but those beside whom people felt safe. So perhaps the more important question is not who is our leader, but rather, do we create a sense of safety for the people around us? Because that perhaps is where the true leader begins. If you enjoy this kinds of question, welcome to Mr. Brilliant. Here we do not merely talk about books and ideas. We question everything. Because sometimes a good question is worth more than 1,000 answers.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना।